Hi, Irina. I've been listening to your story and it's made me feel so emotional. I started recording and then I had to stop the recorder because I was just loving your story so much. What a beautiful, beautiful idea to talk about him. That is so special. Really moving, really emotional. It's packed full of just the most lovely atmosphere that you set this in. It is beautiful. Born in America. Wow, there's a story there. So maybe go a bit into the background. Born in America because we were working out there, or because we were living there, or maybe you do live there now. Um, I think you could give a little bit of a something there. St. Patrick's Day, which is a huge day of celebration in America, because obviously there's a lot of Irish immigrants there. So you could just add in that little detail. But I know what you mean about babies looking so serious. They say that babies look like old men when they're born, and they really do. They have this look of kind of confusion and concentration, and I know just what you mean. It's lovely. We're going to pick up after a minute or so because I already started listening before I pressed record.
Um, well, I believe that this meeting made me an adult. Me and my husband were just a selfish couple without kids, and after having our first child, we became responsible.
Okay, wonderful use of tenses. Not only absolutely true in what you say, but wonderful use of tenses there. They're absolutely perfect.
And we got a real purpose of life.
I wouldn't say we got a purpose. Be careful of got. It's quite informal. You could turn it around and say, our life gained purpose. You could put it that way. Or we realised there was a purpose. But just be careful with got.
And I believe that my son teaches us every day how to be a better person.
Okay, change that round in the word order. That every day, my son teaches us, or our son, if you've talked about your husband, our son teaches us how to be better. Yes, they talk about children teaching us how to live and teaching us how to learn as well because of their curiosity.
And moreover, he gave us courage to have more kids.
Okay, yes.
So then we had one more son, and if I had opportunity, I would definitely have more kids someday.
Oh, I love that. Do you know that's the loveliest, happiest answer I've heard to this question? It's a great question because everybody's story is so different. A lot of people talk about a teacher or someone who they met, like someone at work or something, but that is just the most lovely, lovely answer. I've got four children, really lucky, two boys, two girls, and they are great. I mean, they're all very different, but the lovely thing is that they're really good friends with each other, and that's fun. As they grow up with their jokes, their kind of stories, their relationships with each other, and that's really special. So I hope you do have more in the future, but that's so lovely, really special. Thank you.
Part 3. Despite the fact that young adults tend nowadays to live longer with their parents, uh, I believe that
Okay, great start despite the fact. Well done. This whole thing about concession is really useful. Also, remember this links really strongly with the the task two writing. I've just been doing some work with my students in school on concession, and there's such a link, isn't there, between the task two writing and the part three. This idea of formal sentences. So really good start there. I'm just going to go back because there's something you said I just want to check up on.
their
Okay, that's what I wanted to pick up on. Tend to live longer with their parents. Now, tend to live longer than their parents, I think is what you mean, the comparative. Uh, tend to live longer than?
That they have to grow up quicker than they used to decades ago.
Good.
The main reason why this happens is that the pace of life became quicker.
Okay, watch out. Now there you want the present perfect. Has become quicker. Pace of life has become quicker because it hasn't finished getting even quicker, I suppose. So has become quicker.
More hectic. We are surrounded with a lot of information.
And again, surrounded by. Surrounded with is kind of okay, but technically, because this is an exam, you should go to surrounded by. That's the dependent preposition we're looking for.
We have a lot of gadgets, and children have to cope up with these appliances from the very early age.
Good, absolutely. You could just conclude that by saying which I want to use the word catapult. You'll understand that. I think catapult is to throw forward. So you could say which catapults them into adulthood more quickly than used to happen in the past. So this is very much a comparative structure, this kind of answer.
While elder generations are often considered to be wiser than younger generations, from my perspective,
that is an excellent start to your answer. Absolutely fantastic. So it's working for you using this idea of concession or while. It just gets you right in there, scoring points from the very beginning. You're not kind of going, oh yeah, good question, maybe, You're right in there, scoring points, really focused, really good.
Their advice are not always good.
Okay, now watch out there. Advice is singular. I know there might be lots of it, but it counts as a singular, like information. So their advice is not always welcome.
For example, young elder generations don't have access to the internet sometimes, and they don't know modern tendencies like something about parenting.
Good.
For instance.
Yeah, you could just say very simply, that there is a generational difference in expectations over parenting, or yes, they are maybe out of touch with current advice or the current ways of thinking, which are very different.
Since our parents used to think that sometimes it is worth spanking and scolding.
Okay, yeah, absolutely right. Now, used to think, and then that it was. Used to think with the past tense. Used to think it was acceptable. Or used to think it was normal. Yeah, absolutely.
Children, but nowadays it's absolutely inappropriate. Generally, the generation nowadays becomes older because people live longer. Although many countries face unemployment crisis, I believe that people of all ages have the right to find job.
Good. Have the right to we're not necessarily talking to find a job, but have the right to remain working, to remain part of the workforce, we could say.
Nevertheless, they are old or young.
Good.
Sorry,
That's okay. Perfect. Perfect timing. Talking about children.
Well, the last question.
I would just, I know you're distracted there, but this one I would just develop it a bit more to create more jobs for those in their 20s who are unemployed, you've got two parts to this almost, haven't you? One part is, should they be obliged to retire? No, because they're still part of the workforce and they have valuable experience which younger employees lack. So younger employees, you could say, whilst younger employees may have more motivation or may have more energy, it's undeniable that the older members of the workforce are still highly valuable. That kind of idea.
In my experience, I think that parents should educate themselves before becoming, before having children, and even after. However, it would be worth creating some governmental programs for education for young families. And that's all for today. Thank you, Daph.
That one, give me a bit more. Yeah, I know we were keeping the answers shorter, and you absolutely have, but give me an answer a bit more. Why would that be important? Yeah. Many, I mean, you could say some parents are lucky in that they either have a good guidance or good family network or friends network in order to help them learn about parenting. However, other members of society are not so lucky or fortunate and need guidance. And in these situations, governments could provide an education package or support or that sort of thing. So just develop that a little bit more. Who would benefit from it? Okay, otherwise, really lovely answers. Thank you so much for sharing those. And I just think you seem, I was kind of thinking back to your first ones, you just seem much more confident. I mean, what you're doing is wonderful, really, really good. So keep on going. I mean, I think you're doing great.
Okay.